Now, in the last week, more than 100 migrants, mainly from sub-Saharan Africa, were rescued in the waters off the Spanish Canary Islands. Local search and rescue teams helped several small boats safely to shore within just a few days. 2020 has seen a marked increase in migrants trying to reach the Canary Islands. Many of those attempting the treacherous journey are young people from impoverished communities along Senegal's coast. Typically, they leave from Mbour, 100 kilometres south of the capital, Dakar, in crammed fishing canoes. The BBC's Rhodri Davies picks up the story.
The Senegalese port city of Mbour is one of the main points of departure for migrant boats bound for the Canary Islands. In recent years, an increase in clandestine migration has led to countless tragedies at sea. These two brothers barely escaped with their lives in October when their boats caught fire. They say there were more than 200 people on board. Only 51 survived.
The fire wasn't that strong yet when a petrol tank exploded. I left my bags and jumped into the sea. Some people who didn't know how to swim grabbed onto me. We swam and all around us people were drowning. It was awful. We carried on swimming like that. If God decides it's not your time, you survive.
Over 18,000 migrants have landed on the shores of the Canary Islands this year, according to the International Organization for Migration. The coronavirus pandemic is partly to blame. It has worsened existing poverty that drives locals to leave in search of opportunities elsewhere. But for many Senegalese people living off the sea, the issues are more deep-rooted. They say fish stocks have dropped, forcing them to go further out to sea for a good haul. They blame Asian trawlers and the allocation of fishing licenses to European vessels.
We go fishing, and when we come back, what we earn barely covers what we had to spend. There's nothing for us here, and that's why we prefer to leave it all behind. It's the only way to help our parents and our families.
Khalifa's mother paid a smuggler 400,000 CFA francs, the equivalent of $730, to arrange his crossing. It was a small fortune for his family, but the vessel had to abort its voyage and dock in neighbouring Mauritania when fuel and food ran out. Their large investment came to nothing. It's a common experience. Many migrants fall victim to the greed of traffickers who dangerously overload vessels in search of profit. Mustafa Fall works for an organisation that tries to discourage young people from taking the perilous trip.
We've counted over 480 deaths. Just think, young people in the prime of their lives, who should have been building their lives, helping their parents, living. But just like that, they've wasted their lives. They've bartered them away.
The Senegalese government, initially slow to respond, now says it's putting measures in place to stop the trend.
The president asked us to come up with an urgent measure, and that's what we've done. Teams have been on the ground here in Mbour, in Saint-Louis, or in the south, trying to work out how many have left, how many have survived, and how many are preparing to go. The state is also putting measures in place to dissuade young people from leaving, most importantly stopping the traffickers, because, let's face it, they're criminals, and we need to treat them as such.
The government also says it plans to boost its vocational retraining programs to help the Senegalese youth to build a life in their home country. But despite the high risk of death, many still cling to the ideal that a brighter future lies across the water. Rhodri Davies, BBC News.